Okay. I need to, I guess, admit that I was wrong.
Okay. I'm here for any time you do that.
I won't be getting a PlayStation for like 6 months. I thought for sure that Sony would have made enough.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. They didn't.
Who knew production would be low during a pandemic, Marco?
Well, you would think that they would know that's like the only thing that people are going to do is just buy a bunch of consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, they sold out their entire stock, right? Mm-hmm. They said everything that they shipped everything to the stores. So the stores have them, and now Scalpers have them.
Right.
What was it, like 3,500 units? Something like crazy, that, somewhere. And I thought it was really funny. I saw this article that was like, Scalper Group has no regrets buying up a bunch of PlayStations. And it was like, yeah, no shit.
Of course not.
They're criminals. What are you talking about?
Robbers have zero regrets for taking Christmas presents.
Ted Bundy, zero regrets. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I want that as a tattoo.
Ted Bundy, zero regrets. All right, but before we expound on how wrong I was,
right,
we got to get into today's brewski. And it is a special one. Because I went... come here.
To Belgium.
No, I actually went to Fresh Market because it's the only fucking place that's open.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes.
We're recording
Happy belated Thanksgiving.
Yes,
yeah.
So you guys will have already celebrated with your families, hopefully. And if you haven't, we're here for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully you were safe. You can stay home this year.
Yes. Good point. Very good point. And, if you didn't see your family, Zoom... Hopefully you Zoomed with them or...
Got some Taco Bell. You know.
Well, not today. Dude, nothing.
Taco Bell's closed?
Nothing's open, bro.
God.
Nothing.
I know this was the first year Walmart's closed, right?
I didn't know that, but I'm glad we didn't go there.
Yeah,
because Lottie suggested it. She was like, should we go? And I was like, we're already here. So we went to Fresh Market, which was literally the only place that was open.
Okay.
And by the way, Fresh Market's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in there?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. There's so much dope shit. And they had the Delirium Tremens. Now, we've had this on the show before, and I think a couple of episodes ago, we talked about our favorite beers and bringing some of the favorites back, just kind of enjoying them and seeing how over the years they, we still enjoy them, or why we even enjoy them.
If they hold up.
Right.
We've been doing the show for a long time, so we may have changed.
And this happens to be Obi's favorite beer. And I got it because his birthday is this weekend.
Yeah.
When this episode comes out, it will be your birthday.
Maybe be my birthday, yeah.
So, if you see him in the street, say what up.
From 6 feet, please.
Yeah, definitely. With your mask on.
Yeah, thank you.
And wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Let's I'll let you do the honors,
Oh,
sir.
thank you so much. This is the Delirium Tremens family brewery here. Since 1650, that's spelled Huyghe,
and that's how it's pronounced.
It's a Belgian ale. This is 1 pint of this beautiful baby. It comes in at an 8.5% ABV, bottled and brewed in brewery, which is in Belgium. All right, let's do it.
All right, my name is Marco Dupa. The birthday boy is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What's up, brewskis?
And wow, this is the One Baron podcast.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is a good year.
Beautiful. It's a good year.
Glad that wasn't named at your head.
Yeah, dude. Take a fucking eye. Well, not these eyes, baby. That was... I
Unexpected.
Hopefully I can screen grab that and use that as a thumbnail. These eyes and cry every night.
It's a nice Bruce Lee shades, by the way.
Thank you. By the way, if anybody's wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses, it's because I felt like it.
You don't have a hangover?
There's literally no... I actually do kind of have a hangover.
I saw your Twitter feed last night, bud.
Yeah, I do have a hangover.
What's up with the 4 beers?
I
4 beers in.
I only meant to have like a little nightcap, right? But I I went to Wawa instead of going to like a liquor store or whatever, so I didn't get like a good bottle of like whiskey or something.
Right.
I have like a little nightcap. So I was like, fuck it, I want something strong. I got the the Coppertail Triple.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like I'm pretty sure it's the strongest beer Wawa carries.
I think so. Yeah. The Unholy.
Yeah, the Unholy. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, one after the other, dude. Like I just kept going, man.
It kept going. Yeah. Happens like that sometimes.
Until I ended up almost drinking the whole thing, and I was kind of shithouse.
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Watching a bunch of random videos and
nice.
Just talking a bunch of shit on Twitter. So yeah.
2020 in a nutshell, folks.
I'm a little hungover, so I'm actually just gonna keep these on because I love the way these look.
Yeah. Do it.
I call these my porn producer shades.
You're here.
Here. I mean, that really is a good beer, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a really good beer.
Yep.
You want to talk about it? A
A
little bit?
Yeah. I mean,
When was do you remember, like, the first time you had it?
the first time I had it was back when I was staying in Oviedo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we got it from Pat's. Just on a whim, because there was a time where I was experimenting with craft beer.
Mm-hmm. We all go through that phase.
Yes. And I was just trying out the pint bottles.
Yeah.
Just to see what was out there, because I realized if they're in a pint bottle, there's something a little special, a little different. So I think just on a whim, I saw that one, picked it up, and here we are today.
Yeah.
It was either there, or I definitely also had it at Red Light at some point.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I remember that time frame where, I mean, all we did was we just bought a bunch of random shit.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go to Pat's or
Shamrock.
Yeah. And then just up and down those aisles, just finding different shit to. Those were the formative years.
Uh-huh. I mean, it's so special coming from just like Yingling.
Yeah.
To these giant pint bottles of magic.
Yeah. You feel like it's such a leap forward.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'll never go back to drinking Bud Light again.
But we do.
All the time.
You know, you got to come back home sometimes. I feel like the light beers, even just the kind of cheaper Yinglings of this world are just like coming back home for the holidays, for instance. Like coming back for Thanksgiving to your small town. You don't want to stay there, but it's there and it's comforting and it's what you remember.
They humble you.
Yeah.
You know, you go out and you buy a fucking, $12 or $13 6-pack and you're like, what am I doing? Yeah. And you go back home for the holidays and everyone's around and they're kind of pieces of shit, but they're your pieces of shit.
Right.
And you're like, you know what? This is who I really am.
Mm-hmm. Deep down.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yes. But this shit is delicious.
It was one of the very early craft beers that I was like, whoa.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe because it was at the start, it holds such a special place. I know for me, the Left Hand Nitro is that's mine.
Yep.
If anybody wants to get me a Christmas present, don't do that. Get me like cooler shit than that. I will consume that, and then that'll be it. It'll be over.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm pretty sure that was like the first, like real deal stout, and I was like, this is it. This is my thing.
Yeah.
That I don't know. The idea of drinking like an alcoholic chocolate milk, was very appealing to me.
Yeah.
So,
I had the same thing with stouts at Red Light. I vividly remember with the Old Rasputin.
Yes.
And I went back and had that one. I think it was 2 weeks ago. They had a stout event, and they had like a barrel aged version of that. Oh. And I hadn't had it in a long time, and it was like licking the moon in a good way.
They had a stout and stogie thing. We missed it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we missed it. One day.
Yeah.
We got to get some cigars.
Cigars.
Some Seegers.
Yeah.
Some Bobby Seegers. So, yeah, I was fucking dead wrong about the PlayStation thing, dude.
Well, so here's the thing. You were and you weren't. Because I remember actually just before they made that news story about, 3,500 PlayStations being taken by scalpers. Unfortunately, PlayStation came out with the news that basically there's no more PlayStations. Sorry, they're all gone. We made as many as we could. We focused all of our efforts on promoting it and getting people excited about it and making as many as we possibly could, and now they're all gone. So we'll do our best to make more. But just this week, they announced that there will be more PlayStations available before the end of the year. So I guess they must have picked up production as they were realizing they were running low.
Yeah.
And are getting more to market before the new year.
Yeah.
So there's still hope. There is still hope.
I don't know if I'm gonna wait a little bit anyway. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm just not gonna try that hard. I'm just gonna wait until it's not a big deal and I can just walk into the store. But I just didn't. I anticipated it to be crazy, especially around now. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's crazy, but I mean, scalpers should be. They should be sat in a chair and have their fingernails pulled off one by one slowly.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They should be what is that thing when they put cheesecloth over your face and then pour water? Waterboarded until
I don't think it needs to be cheesecloth. I think it just be like a towel.
Yeah, I can't just. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The idea of waterboarding. When I first heard about what that was and how they achieved it, it's such a simple thing.
Yeah.
When you think about the mechanics of it.
It makes you think who did it first.
Yeah.
How do you discover that?
It had to have been an accident.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
They had to have had some guy shackled up with like a bag over his head and he like fucking threw water at him to like wake him up or something.
Hey, this sucks.
He's like, you know what? This sucks more than my conditions right now.
Yeah.
Please don't do that again.
Yeah.
And then they're like, do what again? Nothing. Bag him. But yeah, they should be waterboarded.
Okay.
Until they give up, I don't know, everything.
Yeah.
I just... Then, people say like, well, what did you expect? Here's the good one. The one of the points that people are making is like, well, this business is driven by demand, and people are going to buy PlayStations for their families, for their kids, stuff like that. So they're going to spend that extra money from these scalpers because they're desperate.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what drives that industry.
Sure. It's like the sneaker industry.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yeah, and it's fucked up. But I saw one post where somebody was like, "Do you guys feel bad about I think we talked about it. Do you feel bad? Do you grown men feel bad about buying a PlayStation when you know that a kid isn't going to have one for Christmas this year?" And it's like, what? No. Who thinks about this in terms of if I should not buy this one because Timmy down the street is going to need this, so I shouldn't enjoy myself?
That's the thought of a suburban mom who's frustrated at the fact that she can't go to Target and grab a PS5 for their kids.
That's exactly what it is.
That's all that is. Like it's a silly thought.
Yeah. The idea of
she's a silly thought.
You guys should you guys should be ashamed of yourselves buying this thing that you can afford and that you enjoy. This I don't know, man. I fall into some Twitter circles where it's still people with the idea of like, I saw one post that was like, when the PlayStation came out, and this person was like, I mean, I just can't imagine being a grown ass man still playing video games. And it had like I mean, it had gone, mini viral, like 30 or 40,000 likes, couple hundred retweets or whatever.
Yeah.
What is that level of not going viral, but going viral?
Yeah.
That mini level of like 50, anything under, I guess, 100,000.
Going
likes.
bacterial.
Going bacterial.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's still a popular way of thinking.
It's because there are a lot of people who, quote unquote, grew out of video games. But I think that people who don't know the current state of video games as far as like an entertainment platform, I feel like they just aren't in tune with what video games are nowadays.
Yeah.
That they're more of a storytelling method. They're blockbuster entertainment at this point. You play an Uncharted game and you're watching a blockbuster movie that you're interacting with.
Definitely.
So I think that comes from an old school kind of school of thought where video games are just like, Pong or even like Madden, where it's just time wasted challenging yourself with something that's not real. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think that it obviously comes from a place of like a superiority complex. Mm-hmm. So I don't pay any mind. I don't care anymore. I mean, there was a time when in my like mid 20s where I was kind of like, I like video games a lot still. Is that okay? Like, right. I don't know. I feel kind of weird about that. Like, I should be spending my time doing other things. And, to my credit, I did. I, picked up the guitar or wrote a little bit more here and there or got more into movies and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I enjoy this. Why am I going to let anybody take that away from me? Yeah. It's not a detriment to my life. Sure, I could be, the old Joe Rogan conversation we had before where he said you could take your downtime and put it into becoming a master in jiu-jitsu or whatever. Like, sure, you could, but I don't know. The fact that you're not putting it into something quote unquote productive, that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if you're getting something out of it, even if what you're getting out of it is just leisure time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
or inspiration or
that line. Definitely. And that line of thinking only works if you have a thing that you want to accomplish and you're not because you're wasting time playing video games. I understand if you want to have a black belt in jiu-jitsu and instead of doing that, you are playing video games.
Right.
Then I could see someone going, well, I mean, you did, dump 50 hours into a thing that you could have just spent doing that thing. Right. But no, most of the time, 90% of the time, people do it because that they just want to. When I was in my early to mid 20s, still playing video games, the thought never occurred to me that it was an immature thing because I grew up with it, and as I grew up, the games grew up. Yeah, as you were saying, they're cinematic blockbusters. Yeah, so it never struck me as like a thing that kids do.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is if you disconnected with them in your late teens and got really into sports or really got into, a musical instrument or something else other than video games, I think you lose contact with that fact that they have grown up with us. Yeah. So it can seem like a foreign concept, and where you left video games is kind of like your last point of reference.
Right. That makes sense.
Same thing, like with our parents. Last thing they played was maybe Super Nintendo or NES.
Dude, when my mom sees me playing a game, she comes in and every time, you would think that she'd be used to it by now. Yeah. Because of the stuff that I've, especially lately, all the like just crazy AAA games that I've been playing lately. You'd think she'd be used to it. Every time she comes in, her fucking mind is blown. Yeah. This a video game? That ain't no video game. You watching a movie? Mm-hmm. Did you do that? Yeah. I'm like, Ma, it's a game, and I've been playing it for like 20 hours.
It's Miss Pac-Man, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, even growing up, playing, all of those things to me were interconnected. Like I would go out, I'd play ball, and then I'd come back home and I'd play video games. Yeah. None of it, but I see what you're saying. Like if you left behind those childish things to move on to these grown-up things. Yeah. Of course, you would look back and go, only children do that.
Right. I did that when I was a kid. Therefore, that's where they belong.
Yeah.
With children.
Yeah, I get that. It's stupid.
It is stupid.
It's a dumb way of looking at things.
Yeah.
But, I think whatever helps people sleep at night.
You can understand their perspective at least. I don't get mad when I see that perspective anymore. I used to really take it personally.
Yeah.
As like people calling me childish for enjoying something. But,
I think the only problem is it's like you said, a superiority complex, this idea that like you can't get anything done because you're playing video games.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you spent 24 hours a day grinding. You hustling 24 hours a day. Oh, I get no sleep. All hours of the day, I'm grinding.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
There is at least a couple hours where you sit down.
Scroll through Twitter.
You may throw on some Netflix. I wonder what you're going to watch. Maybe a Marvel movie.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. Do you go on Netflix and only watch documentaries on how to make more money?
Yeah.
Are you only watching YouTube videos of like Ty Lopez?
I only read Malcolm Gladwell.
It's just this, and that's the other thing is the blatant hypocrisy of it.
Yeah.
That those people seem to not want to acknowledge or don't even realize is occurring. When they're saying, why would you play a video game?
Yeah.
And then you spend your leisure time watching fantasy movies. Like some of these people, their favorite show is Game of Thrones.
Right.
And then turn around and say, ugh, what is that? Fucking wizards and swords
Lord
and
of the
shit
Rings
that you're playing?
bullshit?
It's like, what are you talking about, man?
I like my fantasy low.
I mean, if you're somebody who's like, I only watch crime movies from the 80s and 90s,
right,
and I only grind, I don't even know what that looks like, dude. Honestly,
boring.
I don't even,
it looks boring.
It's
boring. It's dull.
Life. Grinding, I don't know.
The song, fantastic.
But the idea, all of that always to me was doing shit like this and making shit like this better.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I'm not downplaying anybody who like wants to run their own business or be an entrepreneur or anything like that. But it always seems like the entrepreneur types are the ones who are trying to tell other people how they need to be living their lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think, at least from what I've observed, is the actually successful entrepreneurs don't have time to criticize other people.
Right.
They're actually grinding.
Right.
They're actually focused on what's important. They don't care about what other people are doing. They don't care about how other people spend their time.
Yeah.
So,
that's very true.
If you have enough time as an entrepreneur to judge other people for enjoying video games in their downtime, you may be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you might want to I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Put that in a book. Sell it.
Mirror. Look at it. That's you, baby.
Yeah. So I guess those fucking people, the scalpers, would consider themselves entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. That's their small business.
Yeah.
Stealing from the rich, I guess.
It's called capitalism.
I mean, yeah. I mean, from their perspective, they're like, look, we just...
They bought them legally, right?
They bought them legally. But even that, I mean... Okay, let's talk about... Because we touched on it before when we were theorizing what would happen.
Right.
And now it's come to fruition. And there has to be some kind of legal precedent set with programming bots to buy up all of your merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not technically illegal.
Right.
Because they bought it with their money.
Yeah.
And they own those things.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have upstairs neighbors who are elephants.
Now, they're moving a bunch of PS5s from one room to the next.
We hear you up down there.
Just, there has to be some kind of legality here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the fact of the matter is there's very little incentive for both Sony and the PlayStation brand and the people who are selling them in retail to do anything about it. Because the fact of the matter is they're being sold.
Yeah.
Again, just like the sneaker industry, right?
Yeah.
They're being bought. That's all that matters to that level, right?
Yeah.
When they get to the streets, people start selling them at double, triple their value. It doesn't matter to them. The store already sold the shoe. And that's the level in which they stop caring.
Yeah.
So why would they do anything about it?
Yeah.
They're not going to fight against that. They're not going to limit their own sales.
No, you're absolutely right. I think going back to something I said before with the idea that that industry is driven by, desperation, honestly.
Yeah.
It just has to, it really, as much as it sucks, it has to fall down to the consumer.
It does. And that's the thing. It's nobody's forcing them to buy the scalped goods, right? Nobody's forcing them to pay double the amount, triple the amount.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that they really want it. And if they have the money to spend on it, God help them, Yeah.
It's, they're, like I said, they're garbage humans. And even if I knew one, I'd say, you're garbage for doing that. You're a garbage person for that. But the fact of the matter is, it works. And can you imagine buying the discless $400 copy and then selling it for $1,500? Yeah.
Crazy.
Just doing that once and you're like, oh,
I'm good.
Yeah. For the holiday season, I fucking succeeded. This
Right.
was an amazing flip.
Yeah.
So, I get the drive behind it. I saw this post. Somebody had they were selling their I don't know if it was like it was a pair of like Chelsea boots. It was this girl, and she was selling it on some like alternative website where fucking e-girls buy shit.
Okay.
I don't know. So she sells the boots, and the person who bought the boots immediately turned around and upcharged them like, I don't know, 300% and sold them. And the original girl was like, what the fuck? But it's like, and the comment section was split between people saying that was fucked up, and then other people going, well, if she could get more for them, she could get more for them. Like, what's the issue? She bought them for however much you charged for.
Right.
You got the money that you thought you deserved, and then she turned around and got the money that she thought she deserved.
There's no contract on that.
No.
You don't buy something going, you're going to use this, right? Like, you're not going to resell this, right?
Right.
There are certain things that do have that in the contract when you're buying it. That's like, this is not for resale. You can't resell these things. But as far as regular products like that, no.
Yeah. And I say that because on a micro scale, that is kind of the same idea with the PlayStation. It's like, like you were saying, Sony doesn't have an incentive. GameStop doesn't have an incentive, or Best Buy. None of these places have an incentive to do anything about it because they got their sale. So I bought it with my own money, and then I resold it for $1,000. And GameStop's not going to go,
no.
You're not even going to play it?
No. The only thing I've seen that's been in any way similar to what people are doing with scalping at a retail level is they're selling predominantly bundles. So they're essentially getting more of your money locked in because they're packing in, a year of PlayStation Plus and
wait, companies are doing this?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, retailers are doing it.
Right. Okay.
So sure, it's nice to be able to walk in the store and get your PlayStation and have a few extras in there, but you may not have wanted that extra controller day one. You may not have wanted NBA 2K. But they packed it in, so you have to pay more for it.
Yeah.
So that's a way they've been able to get around, like, not being able to, charge more money for people. But I guess just beware if you see a PlayStation bundle out there, make sure you actually want the bundle.
Yeah.
Because I was even a little pressed to be like, all right, I'll buy it with 2K, even though I don't really want 2K. And it's the Mamba edition that's actually $100, but it secures me the PlayStation, so I'm gonna get it. But,
if I were to, I'm not gonna do that, but if I were to do that I would definitely turn around and flip that NBA 2K. It's just not gonna do it.
Yeah,
my disdain for that company, is at a level that I can't even. I get angry even thinking about 2K. I mean, I'm. We were looking at. We were talking about the new AEW game that's coming out.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible so far. Mm-hmm. How does a company like AEW... Now, I understand that they're funded by Tony Khan and that he's got buku dollars. I get that. Right. So it's not like they are just some guys.
Yeah, they're not an upstart, really.
Yeah, so they have the resources. But we're talking about WWE.
Right.
They have unlimited resources when it comes to the product that they're trying to push to people.
Yeah.
How are their games dog shit year after year?
Yeah.
They're worse now in 2020 than they've ever been. Yeah. I saw a screenshot from a I think it was SmackDown versus Raw from like 2007, and it was Brock Lesnar over the years. And he looked incredible a decade ago.
Yeah.
And now he looks bloated. I mean, he's bloated in real life, but
are you sure it isn't realistic?
No, it looks
his skin saggy.
Well, I saw a comparison of Lesnar in UFC 4 and Lesnar in
WWE,
and even that 2 games made this year.
Yeah,
he looked way better.
Yeah. From
EA's perspective.
I think what happened this year, and I think last year. They had a new developer on it because the last games were kind of deteriorating over time.
Yeah.
Or at very least, being generous, not improving in any way.
Right.
And so they went, all right, let's go with someone else. Mm-hmm. Let's give this a shot. And they hedged their bets wrong because the developers who made it apparently shit the bed. Now, I don't want to disparage the developers because we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe they were pushed to come out with a product too quickly because we know, the grueling nature of making a sports game, an annualized sports game. So maybe the expectations were way too high and they were pushed to get something out there and just out to market and just get it out.
Yeah.
But whoever's at fault, you got to, again, take a look in the mirror and realize people are going to stop buying this the worse and worse it gets.
Right. That's the thing you have to weigh your reputation versus how much, and I think I talked about this last week, but you have to weigh your reputation versus how much money you're making off of a thing. Because yes, in the short term, you're going to make a lot of money off of this game because people are going to buy it because of the name, but eventually people will stop buying the thing.
Yeah.
They just will. Nobody is going to keep shoveling unless it's NBA 2K. Other than that,
or Madden,
or
Call of Duty most of the time.
But I would disagree with Call of Duty because at least either they're making the same game or they're improving incrementally. Yeah. When was the last time a Call of Duty game was worse than last year?
People would say this year.
I disagree. Cold War?
Yeah.
I think Cold War is dope as fuck.
Cold War has gotten pretty, I'd say, I don't want to say bad, but like lukewarm reviews.
No way.
Yeah.
I love the feel of multiplayer right now. I haven't gotten into the story mode.
Okay.
But I love the feel of the multiplayer right now.
Okay.
I think it's an improvement over
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare, yeah. I do.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's yeah.
I've only played the demo, so I generally liked what I played in the demos. Very different from Modern Warfare because it was way stripped back, which I kind of like. But you have more of the experience on that right now.
Yeah, I mean they've done some things are a little weird, but no, I mean I tend to like it because what they did was they took some things from Warzone and put them into the multiplayer and kind of worked it in a way that makes sense for the multiplayer version of the game. I need to read those reviews and see what people are talking about because for me, I'm enjoying it. I think it's an improvement. And then it helps that, I played so much Modern Warfare that like I got back into the groove. So I'm like better in Cold War than when I started off in Modern Warfare.
Right.
So my KD's a lot higher.
Okay. That's good.
It's like 40 points higher.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to say with the wrestling games, it's different because it doesn't go by seasons, right? They just continuously just keep going year after year.
Yeah.
They just do and do and do and do, right?
Yeah.
So why do they? I understand the commerce level of it, why they feel the need to put a game out every year, but they don't have to because they don't update their roster, right? They don't update the stats. There is no season to season, so there's no teams, so you don't have to update that. All you really have to do is, go by a wrestler's week-to-week performance and kind of tweak it as their storyline goes on in real life, right? So if AJ Styles has a couple of weeks where he's really killing shit and people are like, yo, he's having a good run in this feud
buff
that
him.
he's doing. Buff him, right?
Yeah.
If a guy becomes a champion, you buff him. If they lose their belt, nerf them.
Right.
So they don't have to come out. They can take like 2 years off to just make a really good game and then just work on their stats. It doesn't, like, this idea that things need to come out year after year is so stupid.
Yeah.
Other than I understand.
It's been making them money.
Yeah,
That's why.
I get it. And it's like, it seems futile to complain about shit like this because nothing's going to change, but it just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it very well may. If they didn't get the sales they were expecting, which I am thinking they didn't with the latest WWE game.
Yeah,
maybe they're going to hit the drawing board again.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You know what I hope is this AEW game comes out and it's a killer.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome, and I think it's from the little preview they gave. It's like a teaser, really. It's not even an actual trailer. It looks like it's a mix of the that really arcadey WWE game that came out. I forget the name of it. Name escapes me. Where they're kind of like super deformed, and it's just a fun game. It's a fun game to play.
It's probably like the best wrestling game in the past 10 years.
Yeah, no, it really is. I remember us playing
Legends, I think it's called.
Something like that. Yeah,
Legends.
It might be. That sounds familiar. But it looks like a mix between that and the traditional WWE games.
Yeah.
So if they strike this balance between like simplistic combat but really fun, hard to master but easy to jump into kind of gameplay. And a little bit something deeper for the wrestling fans, some substance and just fun multiplayer. I think they do that and they're going to strike gold.
Yeah. Hopefully they just play NBA 2 or WWE 2K. Hopefully they just play it and they just take notes on everything that they don't want to do. Mm-hmm. The thing that's probably the worst in all of these WWE games, I can deal with frame rates dropping. I can deal with wrestlers falling through the ring. Honestly, dog,
doing the crab walk out, T-pose.
There's only a couple of things. Honestly, I'm very forgiving when it comes to shit like that. I really am.
Yep.
If it, like, even when shit like, as long as it doesn't happen all the time, if it's just like one little frame rate drop or like some weird
glitch,
or like a cut scene, somebody's like not in it because it glitched or something, like that's not gonna pull me out of the game. I understand that shit isn't perfect. I'm very forgiving when it comes to shit like that.
Yeah.
The one thing though that fucking kills these games, in my opinion, is the commentary. They refuse to record more lines for these games. And for the past 5 years, it's been the same goddamn lines over and over and over. And
that's
it's
so weird. Why would that happen? What's the point?
I haven't the slightest idea why they won't just go back and record more lines.
They do it in every other sports game, right?
Every other game.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you play these games long enough, it will become repetitive.
Yeah.
Because it's finite.
Right.
They're not going to just keep putting... Actually, though, NBA 2K, I'm pretty sure, adds voice lines as they get them. So they keep that kind of, not as much as I'd like, but enough that, if you play different teams, you'll get different voice lines and things like that. And since they have the real-time tracker of what's happening in the game, right? Somebody goes for a dunk, an alley-oop, a good assist, a foul, blah, 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 blah. They've recorded enough voice lines that it's very immersive. It feels like they actually watched that happen. With WWE, dude, it's like first of all, they sound like they're reading from a script. It's so robotic and jilted and weird and then they just refuse to acknowledge what's going on. You could jump off the top rope and fucking break your spine, and they would be like, "Oh no, that looks like it's gonna hurt tomorrow." And you're like, "Bro, he snapped in half. What are you talking about?" It's awful.
Need a little JR in there.
Yes, and anybody who's played these games, they know I'm not exaggerating. It's probably the worst voice lines in games. Period.
In any sports games.
And in games, period. I'm telling you.
I didn't stutter.
I'm telling you, dude. Just bad voice acting all around.
Yeah.
It's kind of incredible because that is, I mean, being good on the mic is, it's incredibly important in wrestling. It's as important as being a good wrestler. Yeah. Being good on the mic.
Yeah.
If you're good on the mic, you can be a terrible wrestler, and vice versa.
Right.
So they're just as important. So how do they get away with recording these terrible voice lines year after year? If I have to hear Jerry Lawler say he's kicking him with educated feet one more goddamn time, I'm going to kick my PlayStation with educated feet.
Break your controller.
Yeah, man. No. This is what he says. He's putting those educated feet to good use. I bet I could find him saying it. But yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna look for this, but I bet I could find him saying it. But yeah, so we need to get off. We really kind of just fucking beat this thing into the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how we got on. I don't even know how we got on talking about WWE games, but they're dog shit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. This is a fitting epilogue to that subject.
So, I'm going to find this.
Quick update while you do.
Please.
I beat Miles Morales.
Oh, nice.
At least the main story. I still have some, collectibles and stuff to pick up. Awesome game. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. If you got your hands on the PlayStation, definitely go out and get that. I think it's the must buy from what I've seen.
Let's see. Is this it? No, they didn't play it on that one. Okay, sorry. That was anticlimactic.
Just crowd noise.
I was watching Oh, this is the UFC.
I was gonna say, is that Joe Rogan?
Oh, a head kick.
The one that I'll miss the most, and it seems to be replayed in every game. I'm not sure if you re-record this line, but is he's putting those educated feet to good use.
Who is this?
This is a podcast. Dinner with the King. It's a podcast where they're asking him about it.
I don't know. We used to have JR. I think started that.
So okay,
he's blaming JR for it.
Yeah, right. It immediately blames JR. You know what's funny? I watched Miles Morales last night. Actually, I was drunk and I was like, I'm gonna watch fucking Into the Spider-Verse again because it's just so goddamn good.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, that movie. I mean, that movie is not just the best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
It's not just one of the best Marvel movies. That movie is just one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, it is a perfectly made movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It
top to bottom.
It's perfect. It's a perfect movie. Mm-hmm. I'm watching it, and every line hits, every emotional beat hits, every joke hits. Mm-hmm. I mean, the animation obviously has been lauded. The storyline is beautiful. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And it deserves more than... people who've seen it obviously acknowledge its greatness.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge success.
No, and it should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been. It deserves to be up there. When people talk about the best Marvel movies, and they say Infinity War, the original Iron Man, they say Winter Soldier, Spider-Verse belongs in that conversation. It's top 3, and it ain't 3.
Yeah.
The movie's it's just
incredible.
It's a feat of excellence.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely take out the time to watch it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's still on Netflix, so it's very easy to watch.
But they're taking it off soon. I saw.
Oh, really?
They are.
They're gonna put it on Disney Plus. Or not Disney Plus. I guess
No.
Sony still owns the rights
Sony owns
to
it. Yeah, I think Netflix is just losing the rights to it. So.
Netflix is also losing the rights to The Office finally.
Yeah.
So, sorry, ladies, you're going to have to find a personality.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
I really am kidding.
Hit all the ladies with those educated feet.
I'm so goddamn sick of that show.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of people using that as the frame of reference for like the comedy standard.
Yeah.
That's all. It's a good show. I haven't finished it, but I've seen enough of it to understand why people like it. And I've seen like clips on Instagram or YouTube and stuff that are really, really emotional and really, like I get why there's this attachment to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Okay. So I'm not like, these are educated feet.
Right.
When I'm stomping on the show with. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
Just fucking sick of it. Just take it off the goddamn platform. They did it to Friends,
Mm-hmm.
and guess what? Haven't heard anybody talking about Friends in like 6 months.
The curse is broken.
And I'm so happy about it. So just let The Office die. That show's been off the air for years.
Yeah.
And they just won't stop bothering. I guarantee, bro. It's so bad that like fucking two of the so I've been trying not to call women bitches.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
I was about to say two of them bitches from the show. Two of the women
Thank
from
you.
the show.
Yeah.
The main whore.
Oh my God. Jesus.
I'm
Christ.
kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Separating myself from this show.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm not kidding.
Mm.
The blonde one who dated Rainn Wilson's character for a little while. This really sounds like I've seen the show.
Maisie Williams.
Is that it? That ain't it. Shut up. I know who Maisie Williams is. Anyway, two of the women from the show started a podcast solely based on behind the scenes stories about the show.
The blonde who's an a-hole, right?
Yes.
In the show?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And
She's in commercials and stuff too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the main girl, the redhead.
Okay.
The brunette.
Brunette, yeah.
The one who dates
Pam.
Pam.
Yeah.
I don't know how I forgot that because it's on every Tinder profile I see. But yeah, they started a podcast solely based on talking about the show and talking about, back, the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the stories about this episode and blah, blah, blah. The same thing that fucking Zach Braff did.
With Scrubs?
Yeah. He has a podcast where he talks to Donald Faison a lot.
Yeah.
And some of the other people from the show about the show. And it's just because people just can't let the fucking thing go, man.
Yeah.
Just can't let the shit go. I watch a show. Maybe I'll watch it again, but I'm not like in everybody's ear about it every fucking, and I'm not going to like let these guys do other shit.
I wonder if in like the 80s, if there was Twitter, if the same thing would have happened to like Cheers.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Or in the 90s with like Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know?
I think 1,000%.
You'd get a bunch of memes.
They just wouldn't let it go.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's not just a YouTube montage of educated feet being put to good use.
Sounds like someone has to make that.
Right? Oh. I'm just going to Google it and see if I can find it.
Educated feet.
The line is he's putting those educated feet to good use. Educated feet to...
Maybe you need to let this go, like people need to let go of Friends.
No. Overused commentary lines, a thread from Reddit. And that's in there. He's putting those educated feet to good use. He's too busy bragging and boasting than battling in this matchup. Don't do this. Don't do this. I'll find it. Maybe I'll tag it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And just have just the last like 15 minutes.
We will definitely get a cease and desist from WWE immediately.
Yeah.
Expeditiously.
And putting those educated expeditiously. Yeah, no. 1,000% they would Cheers, fucking Taxi would have been talked about every week because it's one of those like niche shows.
Yeah,
and people are like, "Have you seen this show?" And then it'd have like its own subreddits and shit about it. And
I wonder how far back we can take it. Like MASH, you think MASH would have?
Yeah. MASH would have been one of
big
those things.
Following.
And the kind of shows
Gilligan's Island
that are like Gilligan's Island.
Is that too mainstream?
No, I think Gilligan's Island is in there. I think all those shows from the 70s, all of the black shows from the 70s would be like, they'd be trending topics every week. They'd be talking about them like they talk about Issa Rae and Insecure and fucking Atlanta and stuff when it's on.
The Jeffersons.
Yeah, the Jeffersons, Different Strokes. Oh, man, Different Strokes would be torn apart. It would be torched every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. It's a gift and a curse. We can have this water cooler conversation with people.
Fresh Prince. Imagine. Imagine.
Oh,
Imagine.
Dude. Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We can have this conversation with people all across the world, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you just find those people that, in person, you wouldn't talk to about the show, You would be at the water cooler, and fucking Bob from accounting would come over and be like, "Have you seen it?" And you're like, "Ah, fuck."
Here we go.
As soon as he comes over, you're like, "You seen Game of Thrones?" "Nah, dude, didn't watch it." Even if you had, you're like, "Didn't see it this week, man. Sorry."
I don't feel like engaging right now. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I got a lot of work to do, Bob. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you just hear opinions that you don't want to fucking hear from people.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just find a new show other than The Office.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
I mean, I because I famously haven't watched the entire series of The Office.
Oh yeah.
So I basically just I don't know, stay away from the memes, stay away from everything because it doesn't apply. It doesn't bother me too much is what I'm trying to say.
Honestly, the only reason it bothers me is literally just because I'm single.
Okay.
I'm serious. It's because
don't lie to the people. It's because of your Parks and Rec allegiance.
Oh yeah, well, for 1,000%. Yes, that's definitely a big part.
You're bearing the lead here.
I am.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec is better. It's just better. It's a better show.
Hot takes.
It's a better show. It's a better show. Parks and Rec is funnier. It's a funnier show. I like the storylines better. It's more diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a black guy and a gay guy in The Office, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Parks and Rec is not that diverse either. They have an Indian guy and then a bunch of white people. And
there's a woman.
There's one black woman and one mixed woman. And they take her out of the show in the 3rd season.
Spoilers.
So, I mean, if you haven't seen Parks and Rec, go fuck yourself. No. Yeah, okay. I think it's funnier. I think for beat, it's funnier. Mm-hmm. Like The Office, whenever I say this to people, they go, "Well, The Office is more they have the story arcs and the callbacks, and it's more emotionally driven, and it's blah blah blah." And it's like, okay, sure, fine. Beat for beat, Parks and Rec is funnier. It's just funnier. The writing, I think, is just better. Mm-hmm. That's my personal opinion. I just think it's better. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's a big part of it. And anybody who wants to come on the show and talk about it, you're more than welcome. I'm inviting the smoke, as I have in the past.
Yeah.
I will debate any and all comers.
Okay.
But then the other thing is, being single, all you see is... Dude, I mean, I've talked about this on the show before.
Be the Jim to my Pam.
It's that all the time, and Bumble has these things that say they're like these little questionnaire things, and one of them is like, "I quote too much from," and I'm not kidding. It's just The Office, and then I saw one girl that said, "It's Always Sunny," which was cool.
Okay.
But 99% of any time somebody uses that questionnaire on their profile is the
Shawshank
Office.
Redemption.
So it was like, I quote too much from Old Boy. Sue me.
Sorry. I speak Korean.
I'm quirky like that. So yeah, it just becomes annoying when it's shoved in your face all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe my fury about it is a little misguided.
It's been shoved down your throat through the dating apps, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. It makes sense. It tracks. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want people to stop enjoying those things, but just enjoy more things.
Yeah.
Not just The Office. The Office is not the funniest show ever made. It's just not.
No.
So, that's all.
Okay.
That's all I want to say about that. One more thing I wanted to touch on before we get out of here and go snack on some turkeys.
Snack
some turkeys. You watched Chappelle's special on Instagram.
Unforgiven. Yeah.
I thought it was. I mean, first of all, what a genius idea. Chappelle went from not utilizing to basically being a myth almost to now utilizing every piece of technology that he can, save for Twitter mostly, but a special on Instagram, another like 15-minute or no, actually the 8-minute and 46-second special about
George Floyd.
Yeah, he had that on YouTube.
Yep.
Netflix obviously has all of his newer specials, and this one, Unforgiven, is really. I mean, I think this one, man, is gonna go down as like something like a really important document, just about the industry, and I mean, we're having these conversations about artists being taken advantage of, basically, and now everybody who always wants to be their own boss.
Thanks, Kanye.
I mean, you got to give him credit where it's due. I mean, he put that out there. I don't know. I can't even say for sure if Chappelle was inspired by that. What? You got beef?
Oh God.
She's a Kanye fan.
Starring Kanye's dog. You were saying you don't know if Chappelle was directly influenced by Kanye,
right? But he could have been, because they're friends.
Right.
So that could have been something that he saw and was like, I need to speak about my situation too.
Yeah.
And he's obviously influenced by the fact that all of this happened behind his back.
Yeah, I mean it's been an ongoing story since he walked away from his contract with Comedy Central.
Yeah, and if you've been keeping up with the stuff that he's been putting out, he actually makes reference to one of his earlier specials when he tried to, without being completely obvious, tried to tell people what was happening to him with the bird fucking fuck.
Okay.
One of his specials is called, I think it's either the bird theory or the bird something. I'll find it. Hold on, give me a second. I'll find it. But that special is where he explains the pimp book.
Okay.
And he was he was making a comparison, an allegory, a metaphor, using that to try to explain to people how he's been pimped by the industry.
Right.
But he didn't
directly say it.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, he basically, he says in the special, he's like, I'll tell you guys what happened to me, but I'm going to tell you through this. And you have to basically parse out the details. Yeah. And he makes reference to that in this most recent special, that he was like, I tried to tell you guys in the last one. I tried to tell you. So basically he goes super fucking obvious this time.
Yeah.
With the bird revelation. That's what it's called.
The bird revelation.
Yeah. And that one's really good. It came out with it was the second round of specials that he came out with. Equanimity and the bird revelation. He's going real highbrow.
Yeah. That's for sure.
as he talks about these Me Too bitches.
right. That's the weird. It's so jarring that in one point he feels so highbrow and so big thought and almost like anti-comedy in places where he's just essentially having a TED talk about important issues, and then immediately goes into Me Too bitches.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Yeah, it's very jarring.
Bait and switch. What?
So, I mean, he talks about the fact that, he was young and he signed a bad contract and now he's being fucked by that contract.
Yeah.
and he talks about times in his life where he's been taken advantage of, or where he's been scared by people who had more influence, more power over him.
Ownership of your work essentially is the theme.
Yes. And it's, it's coming from him. It's this thing where he makes it very easy to swallow, and also makes it very passionate. It makes you like want to get behind what he's saying. Like he makes it seem very important. But he's not the only person who's been talking about this, and he's obviously not the only person who's had this happen to him. It happens every day to every artist, every big name artist that you're a fan of. If they're not, on an indie label, or if they're not independent, or if they're not a millionaire, they don't own their music. They don't own their artistry. They just don't. That's the contracts that these artists have signed.
Right.
And Taylor Swift is a good example of that. As much as, I don't like Taylor Swift, I can respect the fact that she
Folklore's pretty good.
I wouldn't know. I'd have to take your word for it.
Okay.
I understand that she wants ownership of the things that she created, and we know that better than normal people, because we're not going to give up ownership of this thing.
Right.
And I'm not going to give up ownership of my music. So for her to have signed a deal when she was in her teens, and then to turn around and watch as literally this guy sells your stuff to another guy while you're standing there going, I have the money to pay for that. And they go, well, so
can't.
I'm selling it to these people, so
Right.
deal with that. I mean, it's got to be
Infuriating.
Yeah, just makes you want to. I mean, I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, I would have to hurt people who did that to me. It was weird because I just don't know my dad to just outright just be like, somebody take advantage of me like that, I'd have to hurt him. I was like, yeah, man.
Yep.
I agree.
It's because he's defeated everyone who's done it since.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think one of the biggest standouts from that special with Chapelle was he was talking about the Chapelle show, and he was talking about the possibility of him doing another show.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, the thing is, I couldn't name it Chapelle Show because I signed my name, literally my name, away on that show in perpetuity.
Yeah. I
cannot call it my name. The show that I'm making now, that I'd be making in the future potentially, could not be called Chapelle Show.
Yeah.
So it's true. I mean, people in high places are known to take advantage of the small guy in the hopes that small guy is going to be big someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they sign that contract, no matter how big they get, the idea is that they will never be big enough to get away from you.
And they have the resources to bite that bullet. Yeah. They can sign somebody to some shit contract, and if it doesn't work out, then that's just another shitty contract that they doled out to somebody. But if it does work out, like Chappelle's show did.
Yeah. Like Taylor Swift.
Like Taylor Swift did. You can look. I mean, can you imagine being the person who's like making the most? Like, can you imagine being Viacom right now? Well, not right now because but right before all of this, when they sold the rights to fucking HBO, and that was the other thing that was really huge.
Oh yeah.
The fact that he. So I mean, this is spoilers. I mean, but you should just go and watch it anyway because it's just incredible the way that he tells these stories.
Yeah.
But
and it's short.
It's like 18 minutes.
Not an investment.
Yeah. But he talks about how he pitched Chappelle's show to HBO, and they told him, what do we need you for?
Yeah.
And then turned around and bought the rights to the show.
Right.
I mean, I can't even imagine. Because on the one hand, it's validation, and you're vindicated.
Right.
On the other hand, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You want to just drive up to their offices and be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
God damn, I can't even imagine.
It's the whole, if you don't take me when I'm here, you don't deserve me when I'm there.
Right.
Like incarnate.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And yet they got him though. That's the difference. because
Yeah.
he doesn't have the power to say, you don't deserve me at my best, because they got him at his best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they just took it from him.
Yeah.
And that's the most, I guess, that's the most fucked up part about it, is just right under his nose. They are again, it's the same thing where Chapelle's standing there and Viacom is going, you want this? You want this? And he's like, that's my name. And he's like,
This contract says it's not.
and, you know, everybody's been saying the same thing, and I'll say it here. Credit to Netflix for actually taking the show off of their platform when he asked them to do that. They don't have... The only incentive they have to do that is just to make him happy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they already have, like, 6 specials from him.
Yeah.
And that Mark Twain thing.
And they could have just now secured another 6.
Yep.
You know?
And they could have just told him... Or right, yes, doing what they did, definitely. But if they just told him, sorry, dude, Chappelle show makes a lot of money, and we bought the rights.
Right.
He obviously wouldn't work with them anymore, but they actually, I'm not going to speak out of class. I don't know how their deal works with him. So I wonder if he owns Equanimity and the Bird Revelation and all those other specials, Sticks and Stones and all that shit. I don't know how much of a piece he owns of those.
Yeah.
We all know about the $70 million deal he signed with them. I wonder how much Netflix owns those specials versus if he could just take those and shop them somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I am pretty confident that he educated himself in contracts.
He put those educated feet to good use.
Yes. So I'm guessing it's working out for him in whatever way it can.
By the way, dude, when I get the soundboard back, I'm putting that on there.
You have to. I hope it has like crowd noise in the background too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Makes me excited.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
maybe we'll have a wrestling special just called Educated Feet.
Educated Feet.
Yeah.
Man. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So they Netflix takes the show off the air. Chappelle ends the special with basically asking people to boycott the show until he gets paid what he feels he deserves from the show. And then hashtag boycott Chappelle show.
Just boycott Chapelle. That's the way he framed it. Was
Oh,
don't even boycott the show. Boycott
me.
me.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, I immediately I don't think much is gonna happen in the way of. I mean, if you want to watch fucking Chappelle show and you have HBO Max, you're just gonna watch it.
Sure.
You know, you would think that if you wanted to watch Chappelle show, that you're a fan of him and you would respect the fact that he doesn't want you to watch that. It's very easy. And I tweeted this. I said, if you want to watch any of the sketches, just come to my house and I'll perform them for you. I've seen Chappelle's show so much and can quote it that, like, I mean, if you're, I don't know how you're a fan of Chappelle and don't know at least 3/4 of that show by heart.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. I'm old. I'm not going to sit here and fucking... But if you're a fan of Chappelle, you're my age and older. There's no way you're like 18.
He's not. I don't think he's getting like teenagers.
No, fuck no. No way.
He's too big thought, slow, no whiz bangs anymore. He's just sitting up there with a cigarette.
Yeah.
5 cigarettes.
I think the only thing that would drive you, and this is the reason that I was watching it before he said to not watch it, was I just going back and seeing like first of all, how much does it hold up, which by the way, it holds up.
Yeah.
And second of all, like how much of it would still work in 2020. Because there's some stuff, man. He really, he fucking pushed it. Yeah. And you don't really realize
stuff that was shocking even back then.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear it when the crowd sees the sketch for the first time.
Gasp.
Yeah. And you're going, I can't believe he fucking just did this.
Comedy Central let him do that.
I mean, the first sketch of the first episode is the one with the blind black guy who joins the KKK.
Clayton Bigsby. Yeah.
That's the first sketch of the first season. That's the first thing you see when you turn on the show.
Got to plant your flag.
That is, people don't understand how that's historic. That's an iconic sketch, and that's the first thing you see. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
So
there, I said it.
you gotta just, for all of his faults now, and I know that there are a lot of people who, you know, they say that he's transphobic and misogynistic and all of these things, and not to downplay any of those points because you definitely have an argument.
Yeah.
You just have to respect the fact that I mean, this is a guy just putting himself out there, literally putting his life and career on the line for something that he believes in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be perfect. There's definitely going to be flaws there. But I don't know, man. Whenever he puts something out and people are like, the genius is at it again, I don't think that it's overstated to say that, like, he's at it again. He's the GOAT. He's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it feels elevated.
Yeah.
Whenever he's doing, and I think it's partially how he comes off and partially the substance of what he's talking about recently. Most of his specials haven't really been necessarily comedy focused. It's just been more of a getting a message across with a few jokes here and there, which is interesting. It's different. I understand if people are turned off by that, but regardless, I think you have to admit it's unique and interesting right now.
I mean, his earlier specials are, to me, just drop dead hilarious.
Yeah.
Some of these bits I just cried laughing, especially For What It's Worth and Killing Him Softly. Two of the best stand-up specials I think of all time. But then, like, yeah, his most recent stuff is in line of like that anti-comedy, as they say. But I don't know. We're at a moment now where it feels like that is more appropriate than talking about his balls being as smooth as eggs.
Yeah. Well, you grow up, you know?
Yeah, you grow up.
You have to.
That's what this episode is about.
Yeah.
Not playing video games anymore. Not watching stand-up specials about balls.
Yeah.
It's about growing up.
We're getting there.
Yeah. One day. But not today. So let's get the fuck out of here. That I think is enough, right?
It is enough, yes. Okay.
Well, we got to talk about the beer first. We have to... Do you want to do a kind of retrospective rating? Do you feel any differently about it?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about if we feel any differently. I remember... I don't know if you remember your rating on it originally, but this is my lauded 6.0.
Yes.
So I think it's appropriate for me to go back to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, hold up. To me, again, it's another one of those things that it hits every note that I'm looking for from a beer. It again, capital, all caps,
no cap,
balance.
Yeah. It's
perfectly balanced, as everything should be.
As everything should.
Absolutely delicious. It has touches of sweetness, but not overly so. Just high enough ABV to make the beer worth it. At 8.5%. It's not knocking you over the head. Doesn't have too much alcohol in it that it makes you cringe. Very easy to drink. It sticks to your ribs though. It's a little thick. And yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this beer. Every single time I have it, it's held up. And I agree with my original review of 6.
All right.
I think it is an all-time classic.
I don't remember what my original review of it was, but I'm going to give it a 5.5. It is just, I mean, it's just fucking delicious.
Yeah.
It like you said, it's perfectly balanced. It really is. I don't think that can be stressed enough. We talk about that all the time on the show, and that being one of the most important things when it comes to what we enjoy in a beer. And it really is perfectly balanced. I don't know if that's if this is just a hallmark of a Belgian ale, and this is the top of that mountain. Or if there's a lot of Belgian ales that just taste like that, if that's like the average. But I know that in particular is really good.
I haven't had one that's matched that. A lot of the other Belgians I've had have been sour or had some kind of, funk to them that doesn't deeply dive into, which may be a detriment to some people who enjoy that sourness or funkiness. But I mean, to me, that's Everest.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Want to marry it.
Well, there you go. I now pronounce you Man and Beer.
Thank you.
My name has been Marco Dupa.
It has
I
been.
don't know if it's going to be that for
It's
very long.
been.
We got to get the goddamn soundboard back.
I know.
That right there is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy.
The fucking dog in the background is Celine. This has been the One Baron Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Like, share, and subscribe everywhere podcasts are sold and listened to. Enjoy your time with your families. Hopefully, obviously, again, when this comes out, you will have spent the time with your family. So hopefully you enjoyed it.
Or safely away.
Yeah, right. Stay safe out there. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.
We're still pointing at the camera and nothing is being recorded.